welcome to this deep dive
Okay.
into The Seed of the Soul by Gary Zukav.
Right.
We're going to be exploring some really mind-bending ideas today
Yeah.
about evolution and power and what Zukav calls the soul.
Yeah, most of us, when we think about evolution, we kind of think about survival of the fittest, right?
Yeah.
But Zukov kind of challenges that notion.
Yeah, he says it's not just about physical strength or, like outsmarting everyone else.
Right.
He's talking about a deeper kind of evolution,
Yeah.
something that's happening inside of us,
Right.
driven by something he calls the soul.
It's like we've been playing the game of life on easy mode,
Oh,
just focusing on material success and external power.
right.
But what Zukov's saying is that there's a whole other level to this game,
Yeah.
one where compassion and intention are like the ultimate power moves.
So it's not just about getting ahead, it's about becoming more evolved as human beings.
Exactly.
Okay.
Think about it.
Yeah.
What if the most evolved among us aren't the richest or the most powerful, but the ones who radiate kindness and understanding?
Right.
Zukav points to examples like selfless acts,
Mm-hmm.
even something as profound as Jesus' sacrifice,
Yeah. Yeah.
as evidence of this deeper evolution at play.
That's pretty radical.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, where do we see this kind of evolution happening around us?
Yeah.
Is it in small acts of kindness
Mhm.
or those moments when someone chooses forgiveness over revenge?
Right.
It really challenges you to think about what success really means.
Definitely. And speaking of challenges,
Yeah.
Zukov also dives into this idea of the soul being distinct from our personality.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever felt like there's this deeper part of you,
Oh, yeah.
a wise inner voice
Totally.
that gets drowned out by everyday worries and desires?
Oh, absolutely. There's this wiser, calmer me that only seems to surface when I'm really quiet and present.
Zukov would say that's your soul speaking.
Okay.
He describes it as this timeless essence that exists beyond our physical experience,
Right.
while our personality
Yeah.
is shaped by our experiences in this lifetime.
So our personality is like the car we're driving, and the soul is like the GPS guiding us to our ultimate destination.
That's a great analogy.
Okay.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Right.
Zukov suggests that the distance between what our personality wants
Mm-hmm.
and what our soul needs
Mm-hmm.
can cause a lot of internal conflict.
Yeah.
You know that feeling when you're torn between
Oh, yeah.
what you think you should do and what feels deeply right?
Like when I know I should be working on that big project, but all I want to do is curl up with a good book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the personality and soul wrestling it out.
Uh-huh.
And Zukov suggests that unresolved conflict can manifest in some surprising ways,
Really?
even contributing to what we perceive as evil
Wow.
or mental health conditions like schizophrenia.
It makes you think about all the times we feel out of sync with ourselves.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Maybe we're chasing after things that our personality craves, but our soul knows aren't truly fulfilling.
Yeah.
It really highlights the importance of listening to that inner voice.
Absolutely.
Doesn't
And
it?
Zukov says the path to your soul is through your heart.
Oh.
He's talking about feelings.
Okay.
All of them,
Even the difficult ones.
especially the difficult ones.
Okay.
He cautions against judging events or people
Because.
because, as he explains, that creates negative karma.
So instead of getting caught up in labeling things as good or bad, we should be focusing on understanding what our feelings are trying to teach us.
Exactly.
Okay.
He emphasizes the importance of cultivating compassion,
Mm-hmm.
both for ourselves and for others.
Right.
Even in the midst of pain or sorrow, there are valuable lessons to be learned.
He has this beautiful quote.
Yeah,
The road to your soul is through your heart.
beautiful.
It's a reminder to really pay attention to what we're feeling
Yeah.
and to explore those feelings with curiosity and kindness. What are you learning from your current emotions? How can you approach those tricky situations in your life with more compassion?
This is where Zukov gets really mind-bending.
Okay.
He starts to connect these spiritual ideas to scientific concepts,
Oh, wow.
even physics.
Okay.
He uses Newton's first law of motion
Mm-hmm.
to illustrate how a life stuck in unconscious patterns needs a conscious choice,
Okay.
a force to change direction.
He compares it to a body in motion staying in motion
Yeah, exactly.
until something acts upon it.
Yeah, Zukov contrasts two characters in the book.
Okay.
There's Hank,
Mm-hmm.
whose life is like that body in motion,
Uh-huh.
just drifting along with unconscious habits and routines.
Uh-huh.
And then there's Gregory,
All right.
who chooses to confront his pain head on and make a conscious decision to transform his life.
So Hank is kind of like a tumbleweed blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
And Gregory is like grabbing the wheel and steering his life in a new direction.
That's a great way to put it. It makes you think about what forces you've encountered in your own life that have shifted your trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe where are you currently in uniform motion?
Right.
Just coasting along without really examining your choices.
Yeah.
What would it take for you to become more like Gregory and take control of your life's direction?
That's a powerful question.
Yeah.
And speaking of power, Zukav doesn't stop at Newtonian physics.
Oh, no.
He goes on to use the analogy of light to describe consciousness.
So Zukav compares consciousness to light.
Okay.
Imagine a spectrum of light frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
The higher frequencies represent states of love, joy,
Okay.
and peace.
Right.
The lower frequencies correlate with fear,
Yeah.
anger, and despair.
So it's like our thoughts and emotions are like dials that can tune our frequency up or down.
Exactly. And get this, he
Yeah.
says we're constantly exchanging energy with others,
Oh, wow.
which means we're influencing their frequencies too.
Yeah. So being around positive, joyful people can actually raise our own vibration. And conversely, being around negative or draining people can lower it.
That's the idea.
Okay.
And Zukav even describes what we call evil as the absence of light,
Wow.
like a void of positive energy.
It's like we're all interconnected beams of light constantly influencing each other.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, how can you raise your own frequency? Have you ever noticed how you feel different around certain people?
Yeah.
Like their energy either lifts you up or drags you down?
It's definitely something to be mindful of.
Yeah.
This brings us to intention,
Okay.
one of Zukav's most powerful concepts.
Right.
He suggests that our intentions are like seeds that we plant in the fertile ground of consciousness. They shape our reality and create our karma.
So it's not just about what we do, but the energy and motivation behind our actions.
Exactly.
Okay.
He says,
Yeah.
if you intend that your relationship with your husband or your wife become harmonious and loving, that intention will open you to new perceptions.
So even before we take any action, our intention is already setting things in motion.
Precisely.
Wow.
And if you have conflicting intentions, it can create a lot of inner turmoil.
Yeah.
Think about your current intentions.
Okay.
Are they conscious or unconscious? And how are they shaping your life?
That's a great question to ponder.
Yeah.
It reminds me of something else Zukav talks about, archetypes.
Yes.
These are like collective human ideas like marriage or heroism that influence our individual experiences.
The interesting thing is that Zukav believes that by embodying higher spiritual values, we can transform these archetypes and influence the collective consciousness.
Oh, wow.
Imagine shifting the archetype of marriage from a power dynamic to a genuine spiritual partnership.
Or individuals impacting communities and even global issues just by choosing to live differently.
Exactly.
Wow.
Zukav suggests that we're all interconnected and our individual evolution affects humanity as a whole.
It's a powerful thought.
It is.
What archetypes are you currently operating within? And how can you contribute to positive change on a collective level?
Now, this is where Zukav's ideas about power come into play.
Right.
He makes this crucial distinction between authentic power and external power. Remember, we were talking about that easy mode of evolution focused on material success and external validation.
Yeah.
He argues that chasing external power, things like wealth status, control over others,
Right.
ultimately leads to a feeling of emptiness.
It's like chasing a mirage in the desert.
True power, he says, comes from aligning with our soul's purpose, acting with compassion,
Okay.
and choosing love over fear.
It's about finding that wellspring of strength and wisdom within ourselves
Exactly.
rather than seeking it from external sources.
He lists characteristics of authentic power like humility, harmlessness, reverence for life, and forgiveness.
Wow.
These qualities might seem counterintuitive
Right.
in a world that often rewards aggression and self-interest.
Yeah.
But Zukav insists that they're the true source of lasting fulfillment and positive change.
He has this incredible quote.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be harmless? It means being so strong that you need not harm a creature.
That's powerful.
It's a powerful idea.
It is.
It suggests that authentic power isn't about dominance or control,
Yeah.
but about strength that arises from inner peace and compassion.
Exactly.
So it's about recognizing the inherent value in all beings, including ourselves and treating them with respect and kindness.
Precise.
And this compassion isn't about being a pushover
Right.
or denying our own needs.
Yeah.
Zukav emphasizes that authentic empowerment also involves setting healthy boundaries
Absolutely.
and standing up for what's right.
Yeah. What does authentic power mean to you? And where in your life are you seeking external validation instead of drawing on your own inner power?
That's a great question.
Take a moment to reflect on that.
Yeah.
You know, when we were talking about authentic power just now, it made me think about another fascinating concept that Zukav explores.
Yeah.
This idea that we're not alone on this journey of evolution.
You mean like we're not the only intelligent life forms in the universe?
Well, it's a whole other deep dive.
Right.
What Zukav's talking about is something a little closer to home.
Okay.
He suggests that we have non-physical guides and teachers
Okay.
who are deeply invested in our spiritual growth.
So it's like having a team of spiritual coaches cheering us on from the sidelines.
Precisely.
Okay.
And they communicate with us in subtle ways. Through intuition insights.
Right.
Those aha moments that seem to come out of nowhere.
Those moments when the answer to a problem just pops into your head.
Exactly.
Or you suddenly know what decision to make.
Zukav believes that those flashes of insight are often messages from our guides and teachers.
Okay.
And he emphasizes that the multisensory personality, the one attuned to the soul,
Right.
recognizes these promptings as valuable guidance.
It makes you wonder how many times we've brushed off those gut feelings.
Right.
Or dismissed those intuitive nudges as just random thoughts.
Yeah.
What if we were actually ignoring wise counsel from a higher source?
That's a powerful question.
That is.
Zukav encourages us to cultivate a sense of trust
Okay.
in this non-physical support system.
So we should actually be like actively asking for help,
He even suggested.
guidance, and specific insights.
Yes.
But isn't that a bit like wishful thinking?
Okay.
Asking the universe for a parking spot or a winning lottery ticket?
That's a common misconception.
Okay.
Zukav differentiates between seeking material gain and seeking alignment with our soul's purpose.
Okay.
He says that when our intentions are pure, when they're driven by a desire for growth and service,
Right.
the universe responds in remarkable ways.
So it's about aligning our personal will with a greater will.
Yes.
But honestly, that can feel pretty daunting. Like, how do we even know what that greater will is?
That's where the trust comes in.
Okay.
Zukav points out that we often try to bend the universe to our will instead of surrendering to a higher purpose.
It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Exactly.
We think we know best,
Yeah.
but we end up creating more resistance and frustration.
Exactly. Zukav suggests that by letting go of our rigid ideas
Okay.
and embracing the unknown, we open ourselves to unexpected possibilities.
He reminds us that the universe has a much grander plan than we can possibly conceive.
Right.
And sometimes the best thing we can do is get out of our own way.
Exactly.
But isn't that a bit scary?
Okay.
Giving up control and just hoping for the best.
Zukav emphasizes that this isn't about becoming passive or irresponsible.
Okay.
It's about acting with awareness, making conscious choices,
Right.
and trusting that we're supported even when things get tough.
It's like walking a tightrope knowing that there's a safety net below.
Yeah.
You still have to focus and maintain your balance.
Right.
But you don't have to be paralyzed by the fear of falling.
That's a great analogy.
Okay.
Zukav actually says,
Yeah.
delight in the dependency. Give your guides and teachers permission to come closer.
That's a pretty radical idea.
It is.
To actually welcome that sense of reliance on something beyond ourselves.
It challenges the ego's need for control and independence.
Right.
It's like saying, okay, universe, I'm open to your guidance. Show me the way.
And that openness, Zukav suggests, is the key to unlocking our true potential.
Absolutely.
So it's about finding that balance between personal effort
Yeah.
and trusting in the guidance of the universe. But how do we actually cultivate that trust?
Okay.
I mean, Zukav doesn't exactly offer a step-by-step guide
Right.
to accessing this non-physical support, does he?
He doesn't.
Okay.
And that's intentional.
Right.
He stresses that it's a deeply personal journey, unique to each individual.
Right.
But he does offer some practical advice.
Okay.
He reminds us to pay attention to our intuition, to notice those synchronicities and meaningful coincidences
Right.
that seem to pop up in our lives.
Like when you're thinking about someone and they call you out of the blue,
Exactly.
or you stumble across a book that seems to have exactly the information you need at that moment.
Those are often signs from our guides and teachers,
Okay.
nudging us in the right direction.
So we should be paying attention to those.
Zukav also encourages us to be mindful of our energy.
Hmm.
recognizing that we're constantly exchanging frequencies with others.
Remember how we were talking about light frequencies earlier?
Yes.
And how being around certain people can either lift us up or drain us?
Exactly. Being aware of those energetic exchanges helps us make conscious choices
Okay.
about who we spend time with
Mm-hmm.
and how we interact with the world around us.
So it's not just about receiving guidance from our non-physical helpers.
Right.
It's also about managing our own energy.
Yes.
And choosing to be a positive force in the world.
Exactly. And that brings us to another crucial aspect of spiritual growth.
Okay.
Forgiveness. Zukav talks about the importance of forgiveness,
Okay.
both for ourselves and for others.
Mm-hmm.
He says that holding on to resentment or regret is like carrying around a heavy weight.
It weighs us down emotionally
Yeah.
and prevents us from moving forward.
It's like constantly replaying the same painful scene in our minds.
Yeah.
Forgiveness, he says, allows us to lighten up and move forward with a clearer perspective.
He has this great quote.
Yeah.
The heart that dances is the innocent heart.
Mm-hmm.
The one that cannot laugh is burdened.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful reminder to embrace joy and lightness,
Yeah,
even amidst challenges.
absolutely.
And it's a powerful testament to the transformative power of forgiveness.
It is.
So where does all this leave us?
Okay.
How do we actually start putting these concepts of non-physical guidance and forgiveness into practice?
Zukav emphasizes that authentic empowerment is an ongoing process,
Okay.
not a destination.
So it's not like we flip a switch and suddenly become these enlightened beings immune to fear, doubt, and resentment.
Right? It's about making conscious choices every day,
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to our thoughts, feelings, and intentions.
It's about becoming more aware of our inner landscape
Yeah.
and making choices that are aligned with our soul's purpose.
Exactly. He encourages us to cultivate a sense of self-awareness, to recognize our strengths and weaknesses,
Right.
and to embrace our imperfections.
To be kind to ourselves even when we mess up.
Yes. And he also reminds us that we're all in this together.
Okay.
Our individual journeys are interconnected,
Mm-hmm.
and by striving for our own spiritual growth,
Right.
we contribute to the evolution of humanity as a whole.
So even our smallest acts of kindness, our efforts to forgive ourselves and others, and our choices to align with our soul's purpose can have a ripple effect on the world around us.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that we're all part of a much greater tapestry,
Wow.
a symphony of souls evolving together towards a higher purpose.
That's a beautiful image.
It is.
It makes me think about another key distinction that Zukav makes. The one between authentic power and external power.
Yes.
Remember how we talked about that earlier?
He argues that authentic power is characterized by humility, harmlessness, reverence for life, and forgiveness.
Right.
These qualities might seem counterintuitive in a world that often rewards aggression and self-interest.
It's like the world is playing checkers.
Yeah.
And Zukav is suggesting we step up our game to chess.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
He's calling for a radical shift in perspective,
Mm-hmm.
one that prioritizes inner strength and compassion
Right.
over external dominance and control.
He actually says, what does it mean to be harmless? It means being so strong that you need not harm a creature.
Think about that for a moment.
Wow.
It suggests that authentic power isn't about dominance or control,
Okay.
but about strength that arises from inner peace and compassion.
So it's about recognizing the inherent value in all beings, including ourselves,
Yes.
and treating them with respect and kindness.
Precisely. And this compassion isn't about being a pushover or denying our own needs.
No.
Zukav emphasizes that authentic empowerment also involves setting healthy boundaries
Okay.
and standing up for what's right.
It's about having the courage to be both compassionate and assertive,
Yes.
to honor our own needs while recognizing the needs of others.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Zukav talks about how a humble spirit
Mm-hmm.
doesn't need to harm or exploit others to feel powerful.
Right.
It finds contentment in fulfilling its authentic needs,
Mm-hmm.
those needs that are aligned with the soul's purpose.
He asks a really thought-provoking question.
Yeah.
What is the difference between your essential needs and your adopted needs?
Mm-hmm.
Or perhaps another term might be artificial needs.
He's challenging us to reflect on our motivations,
Right.
to distinguish between what we truly need to thrive
Mm-hmm.
and what we've been conditioned to believe we need.
It's like taking inventory of our desires and asking ourselves, is this truly serving me, or am I chasing after something that will ultimately leave me feeling empty?
That's a great way to frame it. And Zukav reminds us that the journey to authentic power is not always easy.
Right.
We're constantly bombarded with messages that encourage us to seek external validation and chase after material gain.
It's like swimming upstream against a current of societal conditioning.
He acknowledges that we'll face challenges and setbacks along the way.
Yeah.
But he encourages us to view these challenges as opportunities for growth,
Okay.
as chances to strengthen our resolve and deepen our connection to our soul's purpose.
So it's not about avoiding challenges, but about choosing how we respond to them.
Exactly. He reminds us that we have a choice in how we respond to those challenges.
Okay.
We can either give in to fear and negativity,
Yeah.
or we can choose to act from a place of love and compassion.
It's like choosing to focus on the solution rather than dwelling on the problem. It's about choosing hope over despair,
Yes.
courage over fear.
He offers a powerful illustration of this choice.
Okay.
When you understand that your addiction results from an inadequacy, the question becomes how you will respond to your inadequacy by reaching for another drink
Okay.
or another sexual encounter,
Right.
or by reaching inward for those things that fill the hole.
So it's about recognizing that true fulfillment comes from aligning with our soul's purpose, not from chasing external fixes or distractions.
Our responses, our choices, determine the direction of our journey.
Right.
So how do we cultivate this sense of inner strength and resilience?
Okay.
Zukav offers some practical guidance,
Right.
emphasizing the importance of self-awareness, conscious choice, and trust in the universe.
He's encouraging us to become more conscious creators of our own lives,
Yes,
to recognize our power to choose,
exactly.
and to trust that we're supported on this journey.
He also suggests that we practice forgiveness,
Okay.
cultivate gratitude, and find ways to express our creativity.
These practices help us to shift our focus away from fear and negativity
Yeah.
and align ourselves with the energy of our soul.
It's like choosing to feed the positive wolf within us,
Right.
the one that thrives on love, gratitude, and creative expression.
Zukav also reminds us that we're not alone in this endeavor.
Right.
We have non-physical guides and teachers who are always available to assist us.
He encourages us to welcome their guidance, to trust in their wisdom,
Okay.
and to embrace the mystery and wonder of the spiritual journey.
It's a profound reminder that our lives are part of a much greater tapestry,
Yes.
a symphony of souls evolving together toward a higher purpose.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this incredible idea of aligning ourselves with a higher purpose,
Right.
trusting in the guidance of the universe,
Yeah.
and becoming more conscious creators of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes you wonder,
Okay.
how much control do we actually have? I mean, what about things that seem predetermined or things that happen to us that are completely out of our control?
That's where Zukav brings in another powerful concept,
Okay.
karma. Now, a lot of people think of karma as some kind of cosmic punishment
Right.
or reward system,
Yeah.
but Zukav sees it differently.
So it's not like some cosmic scorecard keeping track of our good deeds and bad deeds.
Exactly.
Okay.
He explains that karma is actually a natural law,
Okay.
like gravity.
Uh-huh.
It's the principle of cause and effect,
Right.
playing out on an energetic level.
Okay.
Every thought, feeling, and action creates an energetic imprint, and those imprints eventually return to us.
So it's like we're constantly sending out energetic boomerangs.
He uses that very analogy.
And they're always going to come back to us whether we like it or not.
But here's the important part.
Okay.
Zukav emphasizes that karma isn't about fatalism
Okay.
or predetermination.
Right.
It's not about being bound by our past actions. It's about understanding that we have the power to choose our intentions
Right.
and therefore to shape our future.
So it's less about punishment and more about learning and growth. Like, those boomerangs are actually opportunities to see the consequences of our choices.
Yeah.
And make different choices next time.
He reminds us that we're all on a journey of evolution, and mistakes are an inevitable part of that process.
We're all learning as we go.
He puts it beautifully when he asks,
Yeah.
how can you say what within the illusion is worthy and what is not? Unworthiness is the judgment of not being perfected. But look around you.
Right.
Do you see perfection completed by each human being, except that they are in their own process,
Yeah.
perfect and worthy?
It's a reminder that perfection isn't the goal.
Right.
The goal is to keep evolving,
Yeah.
keep learning, keep growing.
And to have compassion for ourselves and others along the way.
It makes you think about those times when we judge ourselves or others harshly.
Yeah.
What if we shifted our perspective and saw those imperfections as opportunities for growth instead?
It's a powerful shift in thinking.
It is.
And Zukav takes this idea of interconnectedness even further when he talks about collective consciousness.
So we're not just responsible for our own individual karma,
Right.
but we're also contributing to a collective karma.
He explains that we're not just individuals,
Okay.
but also part of a larger web of energy and consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Our thoughts, feelings, and actions contribute to the collective energy field of humanity.
So it's like we're all drops in the same ocean, and our
Wow.
individual ripples affect the entire body of water.
Zukav suggests that by embodying higher spiritual values,
Okay.
things like compassion, forgiveness, and love,
Uh-huh.
we can raise the frequency of the collective consciousness.
It's like we're all tuning forks.
Yeah.
And when one of us vibrates at a higher frequency, it helps to raise the vibration of everyone around us.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
He gives a powerful example when he says
Yeah.
the threat of nuclear annihilation, for example.
Uh-huh.
There is a macrocosmic idea or notion on our Earth,
Okay.
and it requires the complete evolution of the microcosm
Right.
in order for that to evaporate.
So our individual choices, our individual efforts to evolve can actually impact global issues.
Precisely.
Wow.
Zukav suggests that by healing our own fear, anger, and negativity,
Mm-hmm.
we contribute to the healing of the collective.
It's a powerful call to action.
It is.
It's not just about sitting on a mountaintop and meditating.
Right.
It's about bringing those spiritual values into our everyday lives and interactions.
Yeah.
It's about choosing love over fear, compassion over judgment, forgiveness over resentment in every moment, in every interaction.
And it can feel overwhelming,
Right.
facing those choices every day.
Yeah.
But Zukav reminds us that we're not alone in this endeavor.
Okay.
We have those non-physical guides and teachers who are always available to support us.
It's like having a whole team of cheerleaders rooting for us,
Yeah.
even when we can't see them.
He encourages us to open ourselves to their guidance,
Mm.
to trust in their wisdom,
Okay.
and to embrace the journey with courage and compassion.
To remember that we're part of something much bigger than ourselves.
Yes.
Something beautiful and mysterious and full of infinite possibility.
This has been a truly profound, deep dive into the seat of the soul.
Yeah.
We've explored so many fascinating ideas about evolution, consciousness power, and the interconnectedness of all things.
It's a book that really challenges you to look inward, to question your assumptions,
Yeah.
and to consider a whole new way of being in the world.
It's a reminder that our journey isn't just about surviving,
Right.
but about thriving,
Mm-hmm.
about awakening to our true potential as spiritual beings.
And that we have the power to create a better world both for ourselves and for future generations.
Yes.
By choosing love over fear, compassion over judgment, and authentic empowerment over the illusion of external power.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey.
We hope you'll continue to explore these ideas and embrace the transformative power of the soul.